terms of working with Indigenous communities, do you have stories of fellows who will learn their language, like Mayan or something?
Yeah, I think.
Are there opportunities to do that?
Yeah, I don't think there's like structured opportunities, but I think, you know, people have learned some Quechua. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I'm not really sure how to do this, but online, maybe we'll take like 5 or 6 questions. Does anyone want to start? I know it's really hard because I can't see you and you can't see me, but well, no, why don't you just, is that Fedeline? Yeah, why don't you just ask since you piped up.
I have 2 or 3 questions. The first one is, do you have to be a U.S. citizen to participate in the Princeton Latin America program?
No, you don't have to be a U.S. citizen.
You do or you do have to?
No, you don't. You do not.
Oh, okay. And my second question is regarding this section in the application. If I have both languages, do I put the strongest one or?
If you can't put both online, then put the strongest one, but in the hard copy, definitely write both.
And my last question, what are the documents that we have to mail in something online exactly?
Those are all the things, that's all the application material. So your resume, your letter of recommendation, the essays, the language form, transcripts, and the check. And for whatever it's worth, I can't read things online, like just drives me nuts. So I only am reading the hard copy. So if you discover that you can't, because I've never made this thing before, and I, who are completely clueless, put together the online application. So it could be really screwed up. Therefore, if you can't put in however many languages, put your strongest one, and then just say, like, there wasn't room or whatever. And I'm not going to read those anyway. I'm going to read the hard copy. So you don't have to worry about that. And I'll note the people who are reading the hard copies, who are the rest of the fellowship committee and the other interviewers, I'll just explain to them, like, I didn't do this the right way. And so if someone says, just say something so whoever's reading it realizes that they have to ask me for the hard copy information. Okay. All right. Anyone else online?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Sure.
I was wondering if for the application, should we tailor our responses to like the particular field that we're working in?
Yeah, there's a part on the application that asks you which fields you're most interested in. I think it may say 3 or 2 to 3. If you're really just interested in public health and you don't want to do anything else, you don't have to make stuff up about how interested you are in education. Just write what you're most interested in. But if you're not sure, then that's where you write about, like, I'm interested in public health because of X, Y, and Z, but also in entrepreneurship because of these reasons. And they're just a little short. It's just short essays, so you don't have to worry about like massive amounts of writing.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I had a question as well.
Sure.
Real quick, hi, my name is Kelsey, and I'm calling from Salvador, Brazil. You may abroad. And I wanted to know about transcripts. I've been abroad since January, and I come back in December, and unfortunately the university's here on strike for about 3 months. But won't have my transcripts updated with my study abroad courses and all that until much later. Will that be a problem?
Just like at least write me what classes, and if you can get anybody to tell you what your grades are, just so you can, and like sign off on it. It doesn't have to be, a stamp or whatever.
Okay.
Just so I know what you were doing. Anybody else?
Yes, I had a question.
Sure.
I'm calling from Washington, D.C., and I'm just wondering, I understand that obviously you were looking for people who have demonstrated service in the area or in a related field, but let's say that somebody had to just get a job for the sake of getting a job at school. I mean, does that count against them?
No, of course not. No. Just explain, like, why you haven't done any public service worker. And the same goes for, like, if you haven't studied abroad because you're on a team or because it doesn't work financially, I don't think that's a problem at Princeton. But if it is, you know, explain why you haven't been abroad. For,
Oh, no, it's not so much not going abroad, but kind of before going abroad.
oh, yeah, no, I was just sort of,
Your internship experience.
yeah, no, that's fine. Just, you know, if you feel like there's something that you're worried about, I mean, either talk to me or email me or whatever, but otherwise just make a note of it. Like, yes, this might be a bit out of the ordinary, but here's why. And then that way, it's not a red flag at all.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. Have you been able to place people in Bolivia for a full year, or have you had some visa problems? I know that getting a visa to Bolivia is
Yeah, it
a
is.
horrible process.
It's pretty difficult. It's like maybe harder than Brazil, which is saying something. But yeah, we've had people for a full year. We have 2 people who have been fellows there who have like written a document on what to do. So if you get to that point, then yeah.
Great.
All right. Anyone here have any questions? Yeah.
What's the schedule like? I mean, you said that they leave June or July, I believe.
Yeah,
it was.
June through September.
June through September. So like, when would they be finished? Like the following year, June to.
Yeah, most people go for like 12 months. A few people go for a little less.
Okay.
It's not like set in stone. We used to have more people who would go for less time, because like 10 months, because they would leave in say August and then come back in like early mid-June because they wanted to get ready to go to school again, grad school or whatever. But yeah, and some people end up doing shorter placements for other reasons too. Yeah.
I'm sorry this is already said, but about when do we start like hearing back from, like if we make it to that stage where we're talking to the organizations, about when in the year do we hear from them?
Well, I encourage the partners to wrap things up by like end of February, mid-March. It sometimes drags on because they're like, but the person's not coming until September, why do we need to worry about this now? And I'm like, mañana isn't gonna work here. You know, like we have to sort of move at a more US kind of pace. It's always fun. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
In terms of placement, you said it was early June or early September.
Yeah.
And if you're looking into maybe a summer internship or a summer program that would go early to mid-August, is the time that you choose to leave dependent on the organization? Determines it's something that
No, it's really, and that's a good question. That's something you work out with your supervisor, like when you accept a placement. If you already know that there's going to be like some kind of wacky issue, and they've sort of said to you like, oh, we really hope you can come in May. And you're like, what? You know, work that out ahead of time. Don't suddenly tell them, you know, in like early May, like, I'm not coming until July. What are you talking about? You make sure that you're very clear with all those kinds of things like start dates. Usually they're very flexible. Occasionally we have issues with Endeavor because they really like have to have someone, because what you guys would do at Endeavor is like really crucial to how their whole system works. So they can't have a period when there's not somebody there. So sometimes there's been concerns with that, but again, if you talk to your supervisor to be prior to even accepting, you know, if you know you're going to have some kind of unusual case. If it's not going to be an unusual case, then you don't have to really get into it. But yeah, we all try to be flexible. All right, well, if anybody has further questions, just email me and we can always set up a time to meet or talk, depending on where you're located, and take it from there. So I'm going to hang up the Skype, and hopefully everybody got their questions asked. And again, if not, just feel free to shoot me. Thank you.